Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. My co-host Tracy is off on assignment. She's got some project that she's working on. Before we get the show going, I have some sad news that my mom passed away on Tuesday. And so we're going to have a 30-second moment of silence. Mom, I love you. Jane Bronstein. We're up there in the sky. I see you. And we're back. Thank you very much. I appreciate that moment of silence for my mom. You're listening to the Ask Brien Radio Show, and as I said, my normal co-host Tracy's off on assignment. She's got a project she's working on, but we have our old co-host, Mr. Alex Grossman. Alex, you there?
I am here, sir, and I do feel your pain on that. I'm sorry you lost your mom, and she was a great person, and I know you do her proud every day. So really happy to be here again, and I think we have a great guest today. You know how I am. I'm going to really enjoy this because it's in my wheelhouse.
Well, before we get to that part, we got to go over a couple of things with our engineer because everybody wants to know about Ask Brien. It's basically a radio show that's been going on since January 2017, and we basically interview CEOs, startups, people with business concepts that would be applied by business owners to try to help them improve their business. And we spell Ask Brien, ASKBRIEN, and everybody to this day asks me why an E. You know, everyone I know spells Brien BRIAN or BRYAN. Why in the world are you spelling it with an E? I mean, maybe if you're from Ireland and you're O'Brien, you know, I get that. But otherwise, I haven't seen an E with a Brien. So the engineer who begins with an E, the occupation, and contrary to popular belief, engineers do not know everything. So Alex and Patrick.
Hey. At least I got Alex on my side.
Right. And the cup needs to be changed from, engineers know everything to lawyers know everything. But let's get back to the engineer. So, Mr. Engineer.
Yes, sir.
Why? Why do people why would you use an E for Ask Brien? What does the E stand for?
Well, the E stands for Mr. Brien Johnson. It stands for a number of themes that have to do with the Ask Brien Radio Show. One of which happened to be the engineer. And normally I would be like, come on, you took my thunder. But you know what? For today, I'll give you a pass just because, I salute you, sir.
Thank you.
Other ones we have empathy. Empathy is a big word, which we've kind of covered, and I'm being empathetic towards you. We kind of have this little. We are showing some genuine empathy today, actually. So there's that. Another one we have is effort, because everybody in the Ask Brien Radio Show gives 110% of their effort on what they do. The next one we have would be excellence, because everybody here is excellent in what they do. Next one we would have is experts, because everybody that appears on the Ask Brien Show happens to be an expert in the field of their choice. Hence, Ask Brien. And then, isn't there two in particular that you tend to fancy? One of them being excitement.
Enthusiasm! Let's go! Woo, woo, woo!
Woo! There we go. Was there another one, or was
excited?
I already kind of covered that one, but was there was there a new one that we had like 2 weeks ago? I can't remember it. I literally can't.
Sorry for that memory loss. But, it's a very touchy subject with me, so I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, without any further ado, and how do you spell ado?
ADIEU.
And why do I like that word?
Because majority of them are vowels, except for the D.
That's correct. So, and we have our special guest, This one, I hope I can pronounce his name. It's very, very difficult. Jeff Hunter.
It's one of the harder names, right?
It was almost like further ado, ADIEU. Anyway, Jeff. So people don't know who you are, what you do. So first, let's get some background. Prior to starting your business that you're currently working with, how did you start your career, and how did you get to where you are?
Oh man, I've always loved information technology. I grew up. I'm a child of the '80s, so as a matter of fact, I'm still a child, right? Big man child. I think we're kind of on this weird cusp between Generation X and millennial kind of weird cusp where we grew up and we still had '80s music jamming, but we were kind of past that. So we were kind of getting into the Nirvana age, right? So I was all about technology and computers. I've always loved it. I always knew I was going to do something with technology. I didn't know what it was going to be. Growing up, I thought I was going to be like a computer hacker. Like, wouldn't that be amazing? Like that would be my dream, just to be a computer hacker. At least I thought that's what I would do, or maybe program video games. But I basically did what most people do in life. They try to get a job somewhere, and I was very fortunate that my grandpa used to go to this computer store, and it was called Data Computer. And I was literally dropped off there after school in high school, and I would just hang out with all the computer techs and basically work there for free for like 2 years. Just like...
Sounds like our engineer. Oh.
You know what? I have to tell you, I know this is kind of taking a beaten path already, but I think the education system's broken. I think we should really do some like apprenticeship type stuff. Like, I think kids would learn a hell of a lot more at an office situation or some sort of building somewhere, like learning from people that actually do work instead of going and listening to teachers that don't actually know how to work. They just know how to teach,
Well, there's theory and practicality, right? And actually, I agree with you. I actually think that everybody should have an apprenticeship. That way they can although they do call it an internship, right? So, but you should learn a little bit about what you're doing before you actually go out there.
So anyway, enough about educated idiots. So I worked at a computer store, then I kind of got a relationship built with the owner, and we kind of did our own thing. He started a new company called Data Networking, and I learned how to do like VPN tunnels and like setting up remote computers and stuff like that, which was like really cool in the 1990s. Like, it was still like futuristic. And then I became the IT guy at a school. That was probably a low for me.
Because it was educational?
Yeah, no, not that, because it's not what I thought it was going to be. Most of my day was spent sitting in a computer lab and answering support tickets from teachers who didn't know how to install iTunes on their work computer because they're not allowed to. But then I actually ended up becoming the IT coordinator for an entire school district out in Tracy, California. And then I got recruited to be a project manager for Philips Electronics. And that was the job that changed my life, because it was the very first role in where I didn't have to go to work. Like, I worked from my home office, and I managed a team of engineers. We called them field service engineers and clinical specialists. And I actually built out clinical environments for hospitals. And I did it all remotely. The only time I'd ever go to a site was like to kick off a project and to get the sign off to do the go live. And that was like mind blowing to me. Like, my mom was on food stamps. My dad worked at a car wash. I had no clue that people didn't have to go to work and still get paid, right? So that's kind of like the beginning of the end for me. So at that point in time, I started realizing that I could actually, not only myself could work from home, but other people could work from home for me. And we started experimenting about, setting up computers in hospital environments and then setting up remote connections so that engineers could actually work on those computers from home. And then the light bulb went off. Oh my gosh, this transcends the hospital work environment, this could be anywhere. Like we could hire anyone in the world to work on anything for us in this virtual environment. And that's when I came up with this idea for what is now VASTAFFER, which is basically a virtual staffing agency to where you can hire anyone to do dang near anything you want, and all virtual.
So why can't you use GoToMyPC or LogMeIn? Isn't that the same thing as what you're referring to?
I still do. I mean, there's definitely some, technical things that I'm either trying to figure out or someone's trying to help me figure out. And you can use a bunch of apps, LogMeIn or, GoToMeeting or whatever, and you can just have someone remote in. As a matter of fact, there was an article. This isn't me, by the way. I wish it was me. This is genius. But there was a guy who was found to have been working as like the IT director for like 2 or 3 different companies at the same time, and he was working from home. So imagine being like the IT director for a company for 3 different companies, and you work at home, and neither of them know about your role at the other company.
And they were not competitive either.
Right, of course. But they got found out, by the way, because not only was this guy smart enough to do that, but he actually had outsourced his job. So somebody had logged into his computer and was actually doing his responsibilities while he was watching cat videos all day.
Perfect.
That's what our engineer does.
That's next level. Like, I'm not that smart.
But the cats are. There was a cat that was in court recently. So, I mean, cats are
Yeah,
pretty...
I saw that. He was the lawyer. He goes, sir, I'm not a cat.
So, when did you decide to start VASTAFFER? Was that right after Phillips, or did you have something in between?
It was actually an idea during my time at Phillips. I actually, my very first thing that I did was, I don't know if you know anything about project management, but in the world of project management, we have something called a Gantt chart, Gannt, Gantt chart.
Alex
and the
knows
Gantt,
that.
A Gantt chart is basically a list of all the different tasks. So let's break it down to something everyone can understand. Let's say you're building a house, right? I mean, to build a house, you can't just build a house, right? You've got to flatten the land. You've got to pour the foundation. You've got to set up all the little post pegs. You've got to set up the wood frame. Then you've got to put on the drywall. Then you've got to install the doors, right? Like, then you've got to put the roof on, because you can't put the roof on without having the foundation and the walls up. So a Gantt chart is basically a list of everything that needs to be done for a project from start to finish, in the order that it needs to be completed. So obviously, you can't just say, hey, I want to put a roof on this house, and the house isn't built yet. So there's a lot of documentation that goes along with building these charts. And I went on this website called Fiverr.com. I think some of you guys know it. And by the way, this was back in probably 2012, 2013, so it was still like $5. And I found this guy who said that he will make a Gantt chart. And he was the only gig. I literally went to Fiverr frustrated with my job, and I typed in Gantt chart. And it was the only gig, the only service being offered. And it says, I will make you a Gantt chart for $5. And I looked into it, and it said $5 an hour. I will make you a Gantt chart. And then I clicked on his name, and it's like his name was like Mohammed something. He was from Pakistan, and he said that he had a project management certification, a PMI, Project Management Institute certification. I'm like, dude, I've been a project manager, and I'm not even certified. So I was like, okay, for $5 an hour, I was skeptical, but I tried it anyway. I sent him some of my documentation that wasn't very sensitive, and I said, can you make me this Gantt chart? I assumed it would probably take me 20, 30 hours to make this Gantt chart. So I was prepared for that. But literally a day and a half later, he sends me a message back, and he says, I finished. And I'm like, wow, okay. And he says it took him about 8 hours to do. So he literally did it in 1/3 the time that I could do. And the thing was built out on Microsoft projects. Beautiful. It was color-coded, and everything was connected and beautiful. It was better than I could ever make, because I hate Microsoft projects. And when I saw that it cost me 8 times 5, cost me, what was that, $40? Cost me $40 to get this thing done. That was a mind-blowing experience for me. The project was amazing. I turned in my documentation. I actually got a commendation from my project management office saying, wow, fantastic work on this. And that's when the light bulb went off.
Well, that that is pretty cool. We have like 4 minutes before break, and Alex had a question. So
Jeff, Jeff, you talk about virtual staffing, and I know you're going to go through what it actually is. But I think one of the things that to me is the most important thing is that you actually have a background in project management, and that's helped you to actually know how to, should we say, assign staffers, right? So just take the leap there really quick in 1 minute and tell me how, as someone hiring a virtual team, it's better to have you do it than to have someone else.
Well, the hardest part isn't finding a virtual assistant; it's finding the right one. And actually, even further than that, it's not finding a VA because there's tons of them. It's actually finding one that's reliable and sticks around. And I'm about to blow your minds with this, but this is why I don't hire virtual assistants. Now, you might be saying, "Hold on a second, wait.
that's
You have
your
a
business model.
VA staffing agency with over 100 people, and you don't hire VAs." That's correct. I hire people that are technical support reps. I find people that have a corporate background that don't have any excuses. They have longevity. They've worked at a job for like 2 years, tenure, and then I train them to become virtual assistants. Because the problem is right now, there's all these people that claim to be a virtual assistant, but they don't care. They're not what we want as business owners when we think of a virtual assistant isn't what their definition of a virtual assistant is. Their
Right.
virtual assistant definition is they want to have a bunch of clients and juggle $1,000 a month retainer or whatever and serve
Right.
like 5 to 10 clients a month. We don't want that. We want a person who's dedicated to us, that cares about our business and is there for a long time. And that's all I care about.
How do you prevent them from
I think-
leaving? Oh, sorry.
I think that's great. So I can't wait to talk more about that when we get off break.
Well, we got another minute, but how do you prevent them from leaving? I mean, if you're trying to pick one person, don't you run that risk? When somebody leaves, then you got to retrain, re-educate, whatever.
That is one of the things that's beautiful. That is that I will have to admit, that is an advantage I have as a project manager. Because the standard operating procedures, I call them freedom recipes, by the way, because, obviously when you have instructions for people, they really give you freedom, right? Like if you're the only person that knows how to do something in your business, well, then you're trapped. How can you ever get rid of that if you're the only person that knows how to do it? So you have to put procedures in place. But it starts even before that. It starts with the staffing. It starts at why someone's looking for a job or what they're trying to do in their position. And what I do is I like to go to people that are stuck in the corporate world and say, hey, how would you like to make 2 to 3 times more than you're making right now? And you get to work from home in your pajamas. That's how you keep them around.
So you're keeping a lot of people in pajamas at home. We got to go to break, so we're going to be taking a break right now. We'll be right back at KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM, listening to the Ask Brien radio show.
Your business sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon or call 298-9442.
This is Jill from the Santa Clarita Grocery, the all-volunteer grocery program serving children, families, and individuals experiencing food insecurities. Since January 2020, Santa Clarita Grocery has distributed 83 tons of fresh groceries to our 4,655 families in the SCB community. Santa Clarita Grocery is a drive-up, drive-through service with physical distancing in place to continue serving our community. If you are in need or looking for a charity to do the most good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery, one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. A full 99 cents out of every dollar goes directly back to the community. Santa Clarita Grocery operates on a 1% overhead and is sustained through private donations. Santa Clarita Grocery is at 21176 Center Point Parkway in the Oasis Furniture parking lot. Please visit our website at santaclaritagrocery.org or our Facebook at Santa Clarita Grocery to make a difference in our awesome town community. 425-7575. Be our guest and experience the difference.
Have you heard that you can attend college tuition-free for your first 2 years?
The Canyons Promise program at College of the Canyons can make that happen.
First-time, full-time students in fall 2021 are encouraged to sign up now for Canyons Promise.
Benefits include paid enrollment fees, access to program counselors, priority registration, and more.
Attend COC tuition-free.
Visit canyons.edu/promise now for information and important deadlines.
Canyons.edu/promise.
No words can describe the power of belonging to a group of close friends or being part of a family. Insight Treatment Center was founded more than 20 years ago to give teenagers a community of friends and family as they overcome issues like depression, anxiety, and trauma. The new Santa Clarita location is a COVID-secure environment where distance and good airflow are a priority. As a leader in providing intensive outpatient treatment to teenagers, Insight Treatment Center in Santa Clarita is here to help. Call 888-295-9995 or go online to insighttreatment.com.
If you have a business problem, if someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Eric.
Who's got a big day coming soon?
Hi, Mom. I know Mother's Day is coming.
Yes, and I was thinking, let's do something special for moms. How about some free drain clearings for moms?
For free?
Son, mothers deserve a break. Who changed your poopy diapers?
Okay. How about this? Every day this month, the first 3 moms who call Dutton Plumbing get a free drain clearing. We'll give away 3 a day in the month of May.
Right, because at Dutton Plumbing, moms flush free.
Mom, you're killing me. When my brother came over with the kids and my mom, we were starting a barbecue. My daughter came along, said the toilet's overflowing, it won't work at all. My mom said, Sonny, I know who to call. Dutton Plumbing.
This month, the first 3 moms every day who call Dutton Plumbing get a free drain clearing worth $73. It's 3 a day in the month of May from Dutton Plumbing, where moms are number 1.
License number 1058213. Some restrictions apply.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Welcome back, KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show with our co-host, Alex Grossman, and our guest, Jeff Hunter. Are you there? I don't know. That was a long...
I'm here.
I don't know why the engineer likes to scream your name. He just has this thing about it. I don't know. He thinks
that engineer.
He thinks he's Howard Stern.
It's a good name.
He's Howard Stern.
I'm a wily one, aren't I?
Wile Coyote. I'm gonna watch the Roadrunner show any second now.
I love Looney Tunes.
Well, that's because you are. Anyway, we're back, and so we were talking to Jeff Hunter, and we're asking, why do you have 2 sites? Because you have what, Jeff J. Hunter, and you have VA Staffing, and we're just asking, why would you have 2? What are you, Procter & Gamble?
I have a third one, too. I've got brandedmedia.io. That's my branding agency.
So, what do you think? You're Procter & Gamble? You're going to have Tide, All, and Cheer?
Yeah, the truth is, it's kind of like what I said earlier, the same thing I said with Freedom Recipes. Like the goal of me as a business owner, especially now that I understand the secrets of delegation and building a remote team is, if I'm really involved in the day-to-day of the business, then I've failed. So for my virtual staffing agency, for example, I have a project management team of 7 people. And one of them is in charge of my creative team. So all of the graphics, visuals, all my video editing, podcast editing, all that kind of stuff, they do all that. I have someone who oversees my web design, someone who does everything on my WordPress and all that stuff. I don't have to worry about it. I've got someone who oversees all of my, even my social media presence. I've got someone who is in charge of responding to TikTok messages, because I get hundreds of TikTok messages a day. I've gone viral on TikTok a few times, sadly. But the point is that I want, my goal is I want to set up my business so it doesn't need me, so that the only job I have in that business is to actually market and promote that business.
Well, that is a job, right? Marketing.
That's a job.
And but again, let's get back to, isn't it more difficult when you have 3 or 2 different brands versus just one brand? I mean, if you have one brand, you can really build that brand big and then use the economies of scale for that one brand. If you have 2 or 3, then you've got, are you differentiating them? Are you saying like this is for secretaries and this is for engineers?
I think that this show is absolute evidence of why it's important to have a personal brand. Because if I didn't have the personal brand, I wouldn't be on the show. Because if it wasn't for me getting hooked up with you and them sending over kind of like my little one sheet of what I could do and some possible questions and stuff and give you background, and then see, I leveraged my VASTAFFER.com website to show my expertise in the field. So I think everyone should have a personal brand, and I think that their business should be a part of their personal brand. Elon Musk has the Boring Company. He's got Tesla. He's got Starlink, his new one. I don't know if you saw, but I saw like 100 satellites go over my house here in California not too long ago.
Those were aliens. Go ahead.
Yeah, those alien sighting, right? And then but then you've got the contrast. You've got, and Jeff Bezos, and people, yeah, sure, he's rich and all that kind of stuff, but Jeff Bezos, he's only known for one thing, Amazon.com, right? Sure, Amazon has a whole suite of things, but now he's stepped down. He's involved in some sort of scandal. He's got a new mistress who owns a private helicopter company, which, by the way, they found out because Jeff Bezos hated helicopters, and he told everybody about it his whole life, and magically he invested in a helicopter company and was taking all sorts of flights and found out that he had an affair with the CEO of the helicopter company. But anyway, that's the point. Like, what is his brand now? He's left Amazon. But Elon Musk, he could start a new company tomorrow. It could be he wants to make the world's best electric motorcycle, and I'll guarantee you he'll get like $10 million in pre-sales from one tweet.
Okay, but so most of our listeners are small business owners. Why would a small business owner, the guy that owns a furniture store that may have one website that he's struggling with, why would he want to have more than one brand?
Because people don't like to do business with a random Facebook page. They want to do business with people. Business is always about people, and people need to be able to trust you. And if people trust you, then they do business with you. So, like for me, it's super important that I build a strong brand for myself, because this company, VASTAFFER, it's a great company. I love it. I'm building it. I'm doing amazing things with it. But is that my identity? I think you raise a really great point. I think a lot of people in this life have built their identity around their business, and I think that's a shame.
Well, so are you saying you think that because Jeff Bezos built Amazon and it's only one business and he doesn't have multiple brands, as you claim, do you think that was the wrong approach? Because he is the richest man in the world.
Nope, I definitely don't think it's the wrong approach. I definitely think that his life identity was built around that. And I'm not saying that you can't be successful about it, but, it looks to me like now he's old and he's been divorced, and maybe he's actually starting to live his life. Now that he's finally built Amazon to whatever it is, it sounds to me like he's finally actually starting to live his life.
Alex, you got a question?
Jeff, I want to talk about personal brand a little more there, because I think it's really important. So let's go back to Mr. Brian Johnson's furniture store. So that person who runs that furniture store, you hit on something really interesting. Let's take some, I don't want to mention any furniture names or brands, but, all of those furniture store owners, they all built their own personal brand, right? One who does mattresses, we know him from mattresses. The other one who happens to have this little Pinocchio image of himself, right? I'll say it's Bob's, right? We know Bob. They didn't introduce the furniture store. They introduced Bob. Those are their personal brands, right? So personal brands are important. But if we have people in our audience that want to build their personal brand, what are like 3 top things they can do to build a personal brand?
First and foremost, since we were talking about Jeff Bezos, let's go ahead and use Jeff Bezos' definition of what your personal brand is. Jeff Bezos says that your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. All right? So you're either building or you're destroying your brand. Everything you do is either helping or hurting your brand. So the first thing to do is just to make sure that what you're putting out there is actually something that you want people to remember you by. And here's a great example. A personal brand can really help you or it can really hurt you. And sometimes it can do both. You want a great example of that? My Pillow guy. Right? We got the My Pillow guy who everyone has seen his commercials. I guarantee you're going to like My Pillow. It's made right here in America, right here in Connecticut, and our guys are doing it every day. We're hand stuffing it, and we're shipping it to you, right? Like everyone's seen this guy, right? And it did well for his brand. And then you also have My Pillow guy who went on the campaign trail with Trump, and half of the world now hates him. And by the way, the other half that loves him probably buys pillows even if they don't like the pillow. So you have to just remember that, when you solidify your brand, you have to make sure that it's really targeted and approachable. And the people that you want to actually connect with and grow with, you have to make sure that you're very intentional with your message and what you're putting out there. Like for me, I have my Savage Marketer brand. There's another brand. Savage Marketer is my podcast. I'm wearing my Savage Marketer swag right now. You can see me. It's probably better that you don't see me because I'm ugly.
I thought maybe you're in your bathrobe and pajamas, but go ahead.
Well, I truly am a face made for radio, that's for sure.
Some swag there. So good.
I'm in my underwear. They do call me the underwear entrepreneur. So that's the truth. I am the underwear entrepreneur. You can Google it. But in all reality, here's another thing I want to share with you. Like when it comes to building the brand and putting yourself out there, like the opportunities come to you when you're very intentional with your brand. Like I've had all sorts of weird sponsorship deals from like video gaming companies and things like that from videos I've made on TikTok. I've gone viral on TikTok. I've had over 100 million views on TikTok for things that are completely unrelated to any of my businesses, video gaming, because I'm an avid video gamer. So because I've been able to separate my own personal brand from my business and multiple business avenues, it doesn't limit me. See, that's the thing about the brand. It doesn't limit me into only doing one thing. Now, there are positive things about staying in your lane and doing one thing until it's successful. But, I have to admit, I feel like, I have a team of over 100 people. I'm pretty successful. And I just, I because I have freedom in my business, because I have a team, a remote team doing everything for me, it lets me explore and do things I normally wouldn't do. And, sure, some of them fail. If you're a business owner, you've probably failed a few times. But it doesn't limit me. I can do whatever I want.
Well, is there a way
I think that's a unique perspective on personal brand. I think it's actually a smart perspective that our audience can learn from. It's just as easily when you tie your personal brand to a business, if the business fails, your brand fails with it, which I think it happens quite a bit to a number of people. Or you get associated to a brand or a company even when you leave. And we've seen that. I won't mention some big companies, but we've seen that with some big companies where the CEO starts the company. Company's great while the CEO is there. They sell the company, it goes public, whatever. That company gets driven down. That CEO is now associated with the company 10 years later when the company is not the same company. So I think your insight on personal brand is right on the money, even though I don't want that vision of the underwear entrepreneur necessarily. But other than that, I'm good with it. And back to you, Mr. Brian Johnson.
Well, I was going to ask how are
Alex,
you?
to respond to that, I think here's the thing. I want you to think about this. Saved by the Bell. Remember Dustin Diamond, Screech?
Absolutely.
Dustin Diamond never had a brand. Screech had a brand. Dustin Diamond is the actor behind Screech. Saved by the Bell, the rest of that guy's life, he died of cancer, sadly, by the way, just recently, like this year. He died of cancer out here in San Jose, California. But he was 44 years old when he died, and still to the day he died, he was known as Screech because he was unable to live out the brand, not him, the brand from the company, from the brand of Saved by the Bell.
But that happens a lot in acting. If you look at Friends or even Seinfeld, whatever, you're not going to think of those people. You're always thinking of those people in the Seinfeld role. If you see George Costanza or Elaine, whatever, somewhere else, you're always thinking.
And none of them have done well either. Beyond that, for the most part. Take the other aspect of that though, and take William Shatner, who just turned 90 years old. Right? William Shatner will be Captain Kirk forever, but he's gone beyond that, living off the Captain Kirk legacy. Every interview he does, everyone asks him, what's it like being Captain Kirk? But then he said, you don't remember me from T.J. Hooker, all the books I wrote, all the songs, well, not so great, that I did, and everything else I did in my life, not to mention being a spokesperson for a travel and, an organization, a lot of different things recently. So, yeah, so you can definitely, I think personal brand is a double-edged sword no matter how you look at it. Mm-hmm. And again, who helps you build that personal brand? How does someone go about building that? What tools, what do they need to do it?
All right. Well, there's three main things. The first is, who the heck your audience is, and you really need to be intentional with what you're putting out with your audience. So, the content you put out, especially this is the day and age of cancel culture, trust me when I say I've got my fair share of hate. I just made a quasi-political post. And I guess, one of the things of when you're an entrepreneur, if you're an employee, this doesn't apply to you. But if you're an entrepreneur, you can pretty much say whatever you want. And, the only recourse is that sometimes your clients or your vendors or your contractors or whatever don't like what you say and they decide to not work for you or they, pull their contract back. But as an employee, it's actually not illegal for an employer to go onto your social media and see things that you're posting. And if they don't like things that you post, they can literally fire you, right? So you've got to be very careful about what you're putting out there. So you need to have a limit set. You need to set okay, here's my content pillars. I'm going to talk about these 5 things. For me, it's branding, it's marketing, it's virtual assistants, it's project management, and it's video gaming. That's the 5 things that I like to talk about, and that's pretty much all that I talk about when I'm intentionally building my content out there. And here's the third thing that's going to blow your guys' minds. You have to be intentional with your relationships. Yes, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So if you are going to be an expert in your industry, right, you want to be the person that oh, you need that? I know a guy. You guys brought up Bob's mattresses, right? If somebody comes to you and they're like, hey, you know what? My back's killing me. I probably need a new mattress. You're going to say, hey, I know a guy, right? You want to position yourself as the person that someone knows that they refer and say, hey, look, if you're looking for a mattress, this is the guy. Bob's the guy. So how can you position yourself and align yourself with people that can help you, that can refer business to you, and you become that expert that they refer to? And that's what I think a lot of people mess up on, is they don't have intentional relationships with people that they can become the guy.
And when we come back from our break, you're going to tell us how to be that guy. KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM.
Introducing Oakmont of Valencia, Oakmont's second luxury senior living community in Santa Clarita. At Oakmont of Valencia, you'll have access to full-time assisted living services provided by compassionate staff in the privacy of your own home. Oakmont's Diabetic Wellness Program offers assistance with monitoring and managing glucose levels, meals, exercise, and activities. Oakmont of Valencia offers a fully equipped wellness center and concierge medical program, allowing outside physicians to visit on site. Discover the care your loved ones deserve in a resort-style setting. Visit oakmontofvalencia.com.
If you have a business problem, If someone doesn't honor their agreement and you need an aggressive attorney with over 27 years' experience, the Law Office of Peter Bronstein has helped partners resolve disputes, franchisees resolve disputes, and other business owners who have a challenge. Let the Law Office of Peter Bronstein take your stress away. Visit lacorporateattorney.com. Don't wait too long and lose your rights. Solve your business challenge problem today. Visit lacorporateattorney.com.
If you're in danger of losing your home to foreclosure, you need an expert. Hi, I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty. I've helped hundreds of Santa Clarita residents save their homes completely for free. I've got just over 20 years experience and a loan modification success rate of over 80%. I can negotiate better terms with your bank and I can save your home from foreclosure. And again, we do this completely for free. So if you're in any danger, please call me today at 661-714-1400. That number again is 661-714-1400. I'm Rich Sherman with Alta Realty, and I'll be happy to help you save your home for free.
Loss of hearing can affect the quality of life. Santa Clarita Hearing Center can help. They specialize in both preventative hearing loss and corrective measures, including diagnostic tests, new technology hearing aids, cochlear implants, hearing protection, and tinnitus treatment. They can adjust your current hearing aids or fit you for new ones. Santa Clarita Hearing Center also offers sleep molds, swim molds, and musician monitors. Book an appointment today. Log on to SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com, located on McBean Parkway next to the hospital. That's SantaClaritaHearingCenter.com.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Welcome back here at KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. We've got breaking news. Go!
Hi, everybody. Patio at KHTS here. We have a little breaking news. Earlier today, the California Highway Patrol officers briefly closed the 14 freeway in Santa Clarita Thursday this afternoon while they detained a man that was seen dancing in the lanes. He was detained. Freeway is open now. However, traffic around the area is heavily impacted. For more information regarding this, you can check us out on our Facebook page, KHTS Radio, or go to our hometownstation.com. That's our website for more information. Outside of that, back to you, Mr. Brian Johnson.
KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM, the Ask Brien Show. And KHTS is like no other station in the world! See, we catch everything.
Yes, we do.
All right, so without any further ado, Mr. Jeffrey Hunter. I don't know if it's Jeffrey, but anyway. Jeff Hunter is going to explain to us. You are going to tell us what you need to do to become that. You know what you said. You talked about intentional, and you were going to tell us exactly, specifically, what would you do intentionally to make your brand.
Well, I call it the core. Okay, so there's really 4 elements to building a strong brand. The first is you've got to build a connection with people. You've got to really, just like I said, you know, if you want to become the guy, then you actually have to build trust with people. And you do that not by educating people and telling them about how amazing you are. It's about letting people know why you are who you are. Like for me, I told you guys earlier how, you know, my truth be told, my mom was on food stamps. My dad worked at a car wash. I've never had a millionaire in the family. I'm the first one. You know, I was a computer nerd. You know, you guys know just from the intro that we've done in the very beginning of the show, you guys kind of see that I was just one of those computer kids who followed that line of command and had the spark of an idea. So people need to know why you do that. So telling stories about your childhood, how you know, what we call an epiphany bridge, you know, like what was that aha moment in your life where you decided, hey, you know what, this is when I decided to sell mattresses. Like seriously, for me as a mattress guy, like if I'm hearing a mattress guy, like my question is, how in the heck did you decide you're going to sell mattresses? Like that would be a pretty dang good question, right? Like the My Pillow guy, he had a good story. Like he was tired, he never could have a pillow, and he put some stuff together to figure out what it, you know, and he was dedicated getting the best night's sleep, so he came up with this pillow, right? So, like, what's your story? How did you end up doing what you do? Why did you guys start the show in 2017? And by the way, start caring about people, right? Like, I just from the intro you guys gave, I was able to get some really good information about your show and what Ask Brien is and all that stuff. And it's really, it helps me understand you, and I can kind of understand you. And here's the funny part. Building a connection with someone isn't about them understanding you. It's about making them feel like you understand them. That's the connection.
Well, that's, that's empathy, right? Isn't that empathy?
Yeah, empathy, exactly. So you have to build that connection with people. People do business with people they trust, and they refer people they trust because they're putting their reputation on the line when you refer someone. Have you guys ever referred someone, like a plumber or whoever, or a mechanic that you didn't trust would do a good job? Heck no, because then afterwards they would never take any of your recommendations again. Oh, I hired that guy you told me for the plumber. The dude didn't show up twice. Right? Well, that sucks. Yeah. So you have to build a connection with people. That means building that relationship. That's the C of the core. The second is omnipresence. And this doesn't mean you have to be everywhere, right? Omnipresence is a very old biblical term meaning that you're everywhere. But what it means is, where is your followers at? Where is your audience at? Where is your potential clients and customers at, right? So, for example, if for me, I have a column I write for entrepreneur.com. I write about virtual teams. Well, ironically, guess who my customers are? Most of them are entrepreneurs building their businesses that don't know or would like to figure out how to build a remote team. So I am a writer there. I also am on Facebook. I write on LinkedIn. I'm also a writer for Forbes. I'm a writer for a couple startup things and the Good Men Project. So I go where my audience is. And I also try to get people engaged. This is really important to me. Engagement is the proof that everything's working. If you are making posts and no one's clicking on it, you have an audience problem, you have a message problem, or you have what's called a relevance problem. It's just not relevant to them. So you have to focus your time on being relevant to people. You have to really kind of cement your expertise so that people should know why they should listen to you. And start working on giving people value all the time. Always lead with value. Try to give them something good. That way, every time they see you or hear from you, they know that they're going to get something good out of that exchange.
Well, thank you very much. We've had a great show today. Alex, Jeff, was in KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. Appreciate all your help, and we'd like to have you back again because I don't think we have. Alex had a couple more questions. I know I did too, and I'd like to get you back on again. So thank you very much. KHTS 1220, 98.1 FM. Thanks.